Assembly Concurrent Resolution 239 by Assemblymember Mainshine and others relative to Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and the longest day.
Thank you. Assemblymember Mainshine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm honored to present Assembly Concurrent Resolution 239, which recognizes June 2018 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and June 21st as the longest day. California has 650,000 residents.
Mr. Calderon, for what reason do you rise?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, it is extremely loud on the floor. I ask that members keep their conversations to a minimum or take their seats to give their full attention to Assemblymember Mainshine.
Your point is well taken. Members, please give your full attention to Assemblymember Mainshine. Please continue.
Thank you. California has 650,000 residents living with Alzheimer's, more than any other state in the nation, and the state population is projected to grow by 29% in the next decade, reaching 840,000 individuals affected by 2025. These numbers continue to rise year after year. Family, friends, and all Californians are impacted by this disease, the cost it incurs, and its long-lasting effects. I'm proud that my county, San Diego, took concrete steps a few years ago to begin addressing this public health crisis. But this is more than a local concern. It's statewide, national, and global. This resolution raises awareness, but we also need action. Many of us in this chamber have introduced bills this session to accelerate research, enhance care, and support and improve treatment. I also want to thank my colleague from Rancho Cordova for continually bringing awareness to this disease and related cognitive disorders. I look forward to working with all of you in the months and years ahead to bring solutions to families suffering from Alzheimer's and related dementias. And Madam Speaker, I would like the first roll call to be open for co-authors.
Thank you. Assemblymember Cooley, you are recognized.
Colleagues, on this day, I'm always honored to rise in support of this subject matter. It is always the opportunity for me to share and intone on this floor the name of my mom, Doris Lee Cooley, who passed away from Alzheimer's 11 years ago this month. And the story that I always take away is, despite the ravages of this disease, she was in a care facility getting tremendous care for many, many years. I would visit my mom. She would not recognize me. And yet she would sit with her companions, the people that she spent time with, and just chat away in ways that I didn't understand the conversation, but clearly was meeting a need. She just got such great care. Then in the last month of her life, she had a fall. She was in a skilled nursing facility, and I visited her, me being the baby of the family, the one that she would always give me a smooch when I came home from college. And I talked to my mom, and I leaned over her head on the pillow, and her head just came off the pillow to smooch me, which told me that despite the ravages of this disease, so deep into the horror of Alzheimer's, Doris Lee Cooley was still there. Her personage was still there, however defaced by this disease. And therefore, this enterprise of research and supporting research to understand how to support people enduring this, the families, through respite care and other things. We cannot think that these diseases are so bad that the person at the core is somehow lost. So it's just a great honor to arise and support, and I thank my colleague from San Diego. I do want to note that here in the city of Sacramento, my colleague from Sacramento's, at East Lawn Cemetery, there is actually an Alzheimer's memorial wall. Beautiful spot that I stopped at earlier this week to remember those who have suffered and died of this dread disease. I urge and I vote.
Assemblymember Rodriguez, you are recognized.
Yes, I also rise in support of ACR 239. As a family member, my father suffers from Alzheimer's for the past 5 years. I see the effects that it does on patients and families. And as I look at him and what we go through as a family, that we must address this issue and look for a cure for Alzheimer's. But in the meantime, that we always be aware of what families go through and patients and what we can do to help support them along the way. So also rise in support of ACR 239. Thank the member from San Diego for bringing it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblymember Aguiar Curry, you are recognized.
Thank you. I want to thank the Assemblymember from San Diego for bringing this forward. I want to rise to talk about a really good friend of mine that is back in Washington, D.C., who has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And she is back there promoting and talking about prevention and what we can do. And there are some great things that they're finding with science. I'm so proud of my friend Pam. She has taken many trips to train and teach all of us and educate us about the early signs of Alzheimer's. And then on the other side, I want to say, God rest one of my best friends from kindergarten died of early onset Alzheimer's. So this affects all people. So I want to just encourage all of us to support this today, and thank you very much for bringing it forward.
Assemblymember Weber, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker and members, I also rise in support of this resolution and thank my colleague from San Diego for bringing it forward. You know, I'm in the process of reading a book called Before I Forget. It's written about B. Smith, the well-known African-American woman who was the Black Martha Stewart, in essence, and her battle with Alzheimer's. And to read that book and to understand the challenge of her family, her husband, and her community is just amazing. It's also became aware of the fact and the data that the group that's most affected by Alzheimer's is African Americans. It has the largest percentage of those who have Alzheimer's, despite the fact that we're not the largest population in this country. We have the largest population of Alzheimer's. Greater numbers of African Americans will get Alzheimer's 2 and 3 times more than the normal population. The need for research is clearly apparent. It's been there for years. We've not done much because often people didn't live as long. And so we just kind of wrote off our grandparents and others as being forgetful. Now we see this disease that's there and how it's ravaging our communities, consuming so many resources and hampering so many lives. So I think it is important that we basically accept this resolution enthusiastically and then encourage our government and our state to talk about research and what needs to happen for the various communities. So I thank my colleague from San Diego for basically bringing this forward, reminding us of how important it is and that we all have a lot of work to do because it affects all of our families. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Seeing no further requests to speak, Assemblymember Manshine, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to my colleagues for their great comments, and I would ask the roll to be open for co-authors.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please open the roll. Members, this vote is for co-authors on the resolution. This roll is for co-authors on the resolution. Members, this roll is for co-authors on the resolution. Madam Clerk, you may close the roll. There are 73 co-authors on the resolution. Without objection, we will take a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Returning now to Mr. Manshine for your guest introductions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In honor of Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and today being recognized as the longest day, I would like to welcome advocates with the Alzheimer's Association who are up in the gallery, including members from the San Diego Alzheimer's Association chapter. Thank you for your continuous efforts in finding a cure to Alzheimer's disease, and I'd ask my colleagues to please extend a warm welcome.
Thank you.